Mama turns all negative activity around. Mama, we the daughters of Earth, the sweet crone Trinity, have been inspired in the spirit of compassion for the well-being of our ancient cosmic family. To understand why you connected this trio to demonstrate the magic of your power to awaken and protect our universal ancient family. Welcome to Talk with Mama YAH on Truth Uncompromised. Mama, empower our ability with the authority of our common purpose. We are one in the best interests of our global family, in your essence as ancient of ancients. Mama, please allow this Trinity to naturally raise upright our fallen sisters, to elevate them to their true celestial level in mind and spiritual substance. The sweet crone Trinity, Mama Yael, Sister Myra, and Sila Eliana Bay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with Mama YAH. This evening, we will be discussing angels. Angel. The definition is a spiritual being believed to act as an attendant, agent, or messenger of God, conventionally represented in human form with wings and a long robe. God sent an angel to talk to Gideon. That was the example of the definition. The second definition is a person of exemplary conduct or virtue. Women were then seen as angels or not. The synonym is a saint, a paragon of virtue, a gem, a treasure, a darling, a dear. Informal synonym is a star. She's an absolute angel. Angels are sent with a message and mission from a loving God. Do they exist? Why? How much freedom, authority, power do they have? Can we trust them? Let's take a look. But before we do, let's examine a path of gratitude from GoGratitude.com. Follow a path of gratitude to loosen your neck and your shoulder muscles. Begin by dropping the shoulders to rest lightly below your ears. Now gently allow the head to follow gravity's pull downward, falling to curve round to the right, forming a center of gratitude. Continue to release stored tension by flowing slowly, deeply into the spin, ear drawing nearer the shoulder, making a complete journey to meet full circle while mindfully stretching body to soul spirit, to source, self, to now. In order to honor balance, bend your brain around this. We're really just spiraling our head around from ear to ear, shoulder to shoulder. You're releasing the tension in your neck. Reverse this exercise to draw a mirror image of gratitude, activating alpha and omega within. Repeat till you feel complete. So just turn your head around, touching your ear to shoulder. Breathe in. Blow all your anxiety out. Now reverse your head, turning it the other way, touching your ear to your shoulder, and turning the head. Release. For more about Go Gratitude, go to www.gogratitude.com. A loose neck allows greater mobility for glimpsing present opportunities. Using gratitude as the pattern will align self to notice, follow, and enjoy divine prompting for your consideration. What opportunities may be just out of view, accessible by stretching your mind, body, spirit, and essence. Relax and settle in to appreciate what views are now showing up for you. Now let's see what today's subject is about. Angels are not there to be meddling fix-its, but are helpers in responding to the truth. A divine envoy may guide us in the way God, or the higher self, wants us to go in a specific situation, sometimes calling us to take a specific action. We can just blow them off, but people usually find themselves responding instantly with some amount of trust, comfort, or awe. Angels can celebrate and have joy, and presumably have other emotions as well. They do not negotiate unless God tells them to. They do not argue either. They let God do the rebuking, like the Archangel Michael did against Satan. By sticking to God's given task instead of asserting themselves, they are good examples of humility. This is from Robert Longman at spirithome.com on angels, the why of angels. Now this is Mama YAH. When a loved one transitions, say a friend of mine on Facebook, I post one of two images. It's an image of wings with a halo, no person, just the wings with a halo. And it says, he's an angel now, or she's an angel now. Because so many people have so much stress attached to transition, to passing over, to death. So I always try to remind them that that person has graduated to the angelic state. In my mind, even the worst person, when they leave this realm, they graduate from this life to the next experience. This is my idea of making a transition. I don't expect everyone to accept that. However, it is my idea. In my personal life, I have not had many people that were very close to me make the transition. 29 years ago, my mother made the transition. And it did take me a quite long time to adjust to her not being here on this planet anymore. However, in a dream, she came to me and let me know that she was okay. And she had had an amputation, and in the dream, she had both legs. So when I awakened, I was very happy to see that she was whole again. I believe in our dream world is where we really are alive. And when we're here on this planet, we're here to learn certain lessons that we can carry into the next experience of the soul. But that is my belief, and it does not have to be your belief. So, who are your angels? People post pictures of clouds that look like angels, and I like those. I will post them often. Personally, I have a gas angel, a parking angel, and a traffic angel to whom I show appreciation every time I need gas. And I don't have any money. And all of a sudden, the money appears. If I need a parking space, I always say the parking angel will get me a space, and I'm never disappointed. And when I turn into traffic and there are no cars, just open space for me, I always thank the traffic angel. Have you been experiencing anything like that? What are you appreciative of? What miracles have happened in your life? And can you credit an angel for that? An unseen spirit or one that is just in your life? Is there a human being that has been an angel for you? These are all questions that I'm asking the callers tonight. So I'm going to open the queue. And if you would like to say something, please raise your hand by hitting *6. Now, okay, we have a caller. Area code 954. Are you there? Hello? Your queue is open. 954. Maybe you have your phone on mute. Okay, I'm going to leave your line open. 954. If you speak up at any time, feel free. We all have divine experiences. We all have things happen to us in our life that are unexplainable. And generally, it has to do with some spirits that are guiding us along. Okay, we have another person in the queue. Hello, 313. I can't hear anyone. I'm going to turn the queue on and off. Okay, so hit *6 again if you would like to speak. Anonymous, can you speak? There must be a reason why I can't hear anyone. I'm going to clear the queue and ask you to hit *. Now just hit *6 again. Okay, Anonymous, are you there? Hello?
Greetings.
Greetings. I don't know what happened.
Gratitude, beloved Master.
Thank you. And the same to you.
Hey, I missed a couple calls, but I got the replay on the last one. That was beautiful. One I was very familiar with called Lady Nada. You had the lady named Laura that channeled her?
Yes, that was Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Sorry.
Trutman. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Anyway, I missed one of your calls because I got an invitation, a very special invitation to the Western Galactic Wisdom and Peace and Healing Conference up in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what an event. Beautiful.
Excellent.
Are you familiar? Say again?
Go ahead.
Are you familiar with Dr. Emoda?
No, I'm not.
Well, anyway, he does the healing. He puts healing messages in water. Anyway, he ascended 2 years ago, but his successor took over at the event, and they're still doing their peace mission in 22 nations. It was a beautiful event, though. Anyway, I just wanted to comment on that. I missed your call, but I got one of the replays, and the other one was already, gone when I got back. So anyway,
well, they are on YouTube. You can get them on YouTube at Truth Uncompromised.
Yeah, I'm not online, beloved. I just.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll work that out.
I coast along, and get what I can and grasp what I can. But all I can say, I can send a message of encouragement to all those that are still, floating along in the 3D dimension. Your call is probably the information you disseminate out there and put forth is probably way too deep for a lot of them that aren't familiar with it at all, like the newcomers, if you will. But the ones that are just scratching the surface, if you will. Anyway, all the information you put out there, it definitely it's geared toward beings that are working on their ascension, and it's powerful information. As those that are missing this call, they're missing the boat literally because it's powerful information, and it's geared for the ascension. And, we had our third wave of ascension on the 20th here again.
So have you had any experiences with angels?
I could realistically say probably several that I could relate to, and I say that the one I associate is really not angelic, but it's from the father that brought me back in one piece from Vietnam. And now I'm serving my time here of trying to wake up the people to the truth, all those I encounter. And you can really associate with an angelic experience. I actually met several at that conference that I just spoke of.
Okay, well, tell us about one of your experiences with angels, though. Not the one, did you have any with any unseen angels?
Say again?
Have you had an experience with any unseen, invisible angels?
I don't know, we talk about out-of-body experience and stuff, and there's, like you just spoke on, it was pretty real to me, like you thank the parking angel, you thank the gas angel. I've experienced all those from that content and context, many times, and so I can relate to that totally. And I really don't think anybody can ascend to the fifth dimension and beyond without having angelic experience. And those you related to are very good examples of the gas, even the thing, the tooth fairy type of thing, Essentially, that's an angelic experience too, but a lot of things paranormal speaking, but, you know, you thank the parking angel for providing us. That happens all the time, you know. I mean, if you're tuned in, it's just awake and alert and, you know, living the truth. I think you're always blessed with the angelic experience, that there's always the ones that are looking over you. Like every time I crawl behind the wheel and go on a road trip, I thank my Father for safe passage. And it works well. Like this trip I just came back from, it was like a winter wonderland up in these mountains. When I came through the mountain pass, I decided to take the scenic route, but all the trees were white with snow, and it was snowing when I was traveling. I'm talking about the middle of June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that, you know, that cruise around with the white garments you call, and I'm sure they were looking out for us too, because, you know, most people aren't geared up to travel in the middle of June for traveling in winter conditions.
That's right.
So anyway, with that I yield. I don't want to take up too much time, you know, but I encourage everyone that if they're missing your call, Mama YAH, they're missing the boat, because you put out a lot of beautiful, relevant information in the times of now, and we are living in the now. And the ones that have got to rise above that when question they always want to ask, I can tell everybody the finance is going to take place when the Father says it is, in the now. Not a minute sooner. We're not on anybody's time clock except the Father's. And once the finance is released, he'll be the one to call the shot. He's still the boss. With that, I yield.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This board is a little different tonight. I don't know what's happening. But bear with me, everyone. Don't go anywhere.
I'm here.
I'm trying to adjust the board, so give me a moment, okay?
It takes
all right.
two. I'll wait.
Hello, 954.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Could you please tell us who you are and where you're calling from?
Where am I calling from?
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling from the farm. I just got in a few minutes ago from feeding up and got your email. Anyway, as to, and I think Tom was right on with what he was saying a few minutes ago. You are quite an asset to society, because you're doing a great service. Unfortunately, I don't believe that enough people are aware of the things that you're talking about. But so I'll just tell you about my own experiences. By the way, I have my own parking angel, okay? Also, well, I have several, including a parking angel. She's a little girl that really looks out for me. Otherwise, my experience in the past has been unequivocal, unmistakable, and undeniable. For instance, it was, and I didn't realize this. This is about Friday the 13th, which is supposed to be a bad luck day. And I didn't realize that it was Friday the 13th until after the event. It was on Friday the 13th, and I was making a parachute jump. I was the 13th man and the 13th stick. And the stick is, they go out both sides of the plane, of the back of the plane. So I was in the 13th, I was the 13th man and the 13th stick in the 13th plane in the 13th lift on Friday the 13th. I was the last man out of the plane and the first man on the ground. And I was the first man on the ground because my parachute didn't open. It finally popped open when I was from, I guess, 2,000, 3,000 feet down to almost rooftop, and it suddenly popped open. I had a reserve chute, but I was afraid to pull it because sometimes the reserve will wrap around the main and neither one of them open. But after that, I realized days later that all of this was on Friday the 13th. That's just one of many experiences that I've had. I have also had them where there was actually audible voice that kept me alive. And I see the beauty of YAH, God's work, by being on the farm. I see it around me every day. I see it with the birds, the squirrels, the ants, the cows, the horses, the dogs. It's everywhere. The trees, the wind. It's just so obvious once you become aware. You know, a lot of times people look, but they don't see. So I have learned to look and try to see and try to appreciate all of the life that's all around me, with the wind in the trees and the grass growing and everything else. And you develop an appreciation for, some people say appreciation for nature, but is that nature? Is that God? Is that Mother Earth? How do you want to, any way you want to phrase it, it's still there. And to see all of this in motion at all times, and it's sequential, but it's always the right sequence. And just like Tom said a few minutes ago about the monetary situation, we're not aware of the sequences that are happening all around us, but I'm afraid someone is calling the shots. That's something else that I had to learn the hard way too. That, how the old saying goes, the most carefully laid plans of mice and men will often go astray. And with that, I yield. And you're doing a fantastic job. And please, keep it up.
Good. Thank you so much, my dear friend, for calling in and listening. And I would like to say that I believe that money is energy. And I think that we put emphasis on it when, in fact, it is not the thing that we should be concentrating on. I want to give this a little bit more thought, because what just happened in Britain with them pulling out of the EU caused several billionaires to lose $2 billion in a day. What does that say? To me, it says somebody turned the lights out. So I think that we may put far more value on the dollar or the pound than it really has. And I think that's what's changing amongst those of us who are ascending. You're ascending and transcending the mundane. You are reaching into your higher self and asking to be lifted up above the muck and mire of everyday mundane existence. And so as co-creators with the universe, rather than waiting for someone to give you something, I would only wish from my Mama YAH position that you would understand that life is not about giving, but life is about letting go. And I have had that experience so much in the last 3 years in particularly, but all of my life, that I'm clear that I create the space that I'm in with my mind. I paint the picture of my life with my thoughts, and then I speak my existence into being with my words. So I thank you, my dear, humble brother, for calling in right now, and peace. Okay, our next caller is 248. Your line is open.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can. Do you have us on speaker?
No.
Okay, because there's an echo. Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's strange. Okay, that's better. Okay. You know, you're not on speaker on this phone. I have my aunt on the other phone. She was on speaker. So I was calling to say that I have definitely had experiences to prove the angels are real. I've had 2 different, there's a constant energy anyway that I, tap into, the parking thing and the whatever, there's a communication that's ongoing, but really 2 startling instances where I would say that a force intervened to save my life, and I know it. One time, I was going with a group of girlfriends, and we were going to go for a boat ride, and out on this lake in Michigan, Lake St. Clair, and I caught myself being careful, because I didn't have on gym shoes or boat shoes or deck shoes, so I took off my high heel shoes that I had on, and not really realizing that pantyhose was probably about the slipperiest thing you could want to step onto a boat deck with. I stepped onto the deck of the boat. My foot said bloop off of the just slipped like it was ice or something. I went down into the water, and this was at this point it was the Detroit River, which is notorious for undercurrents that just pull people. Like fishermen that accidentally fall in, they get pulled into the water, drown, and are found 20 miles away down in Ecorse, River Rouge, or Grosse Ile. And so the Detroit River is no joke. And I was so hysterical until it was so quick I wasn't even conscious of, but I know I was going down into the water. And all of a sudden, someone grabbed me and pulled me straight up. And this person was so strong, that they deadlifted me. And I know I would have been at least 130 pounds at that point. They lifted me straight up out of the water. It was a guy I had never seen before. We had been in that particular restaurant and bar. We'd had dinner, we had drinks, and we'd been in there listening to music and stuff. So we'd been there, I met lots of people, but I had never seen this guy before. And this guy was gorgeous. He was the finest guy I think I've ever seen in life. And I thanked him, and, but I was, had gotten my arm cut, I was bleeding, so I said, I better go get some first aid. So my girlfriend still wanted to go out on, well, I should say they were coworkers because they weren't real friends, because they still wanted to go on the boat ride. They were like, oh, it's just a scratch, you're fine. So I said, well, you guys go on then. I'm going to go get some first aid. So I went back there many times. That was kind of a regular after work hangout to go to for us. I went back there, but for years, and I never saw that guy again. Never got his name, nobody else saw him. And come on. Nobody else saw him, and I'm describing him for all I'm worth. And but I come to the conclusion there had to be an angel, because to be that strong, to lift me up like that, and to be there right at the time that because this person wasn't, the person who had invited us to go onto the boat. This was something, I don't know. So that happened. Then another time I was in rush hour traffic. I had taken someone to court, and I was giving them a ride home. And it was a lady, and we were in one of the older, narrower freeways in town, and it's always crowded on rush hour. It was like a parking lot. There was, just absolute wall-to-wall cars. And it was, traffic was moving along, but the car in front of me suddenly stopped. In fact, maybe a couple in front of me suddenly stopped. And the one guy in front of me, I realized, was going to hit the guy in front of him. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, this is going to be a chain reaction. And I just, I instinctively, all at once, reached over to shield the lady from going through the windshield, okay? We had been talking, and I don't think that I ever stopped talking. I reached over to shield her and maneuvered the car to the right lane into a spot that was not there. It wasn't there before. Just wasn't there. It was no way for it to have even materialized or opened up. It was so bizarre. And to this day, I have never forgotten it. I mean, just made a space out of no space at all. And so I know that was a miracle. I know that was an angel. It was the quality of the energy that I felt at the time, when I had those experiences. It lets you know that this is something different. This isn't your normal thing. So I had those two experiences, and we continued just going on, and all the other cars that were in that middle lane that we were in, they all ran into each other. So, yeah, I'm very grateful, and I try to stay in gratitude as much as possible these days, because that is the key that we've been given, to stay in gratitude. So I thank you for letting me share my stories.
Well, thank you. And one thing that I read a long time ago, and I try to remember this, and I get it often. However, we all participate in prayer one way or another, whether we do it the traditional, with the traditional prayers or in our own words. But I read that angels cannot help humans without their permission. So if you need help, they can be there, not interfere without some gesture from you. And so when you were putting your arm over the woman, you were making a body language move that for help. You see that?
Wow. Yes. Well, the one thing I always say is that I'm always open to receive angelic, divine, or galactic help. And so when people talk about the galactics, they can't they can't interfere with human development, this, that, the other, without our permission or without us asking. I say, I'm asking. Hello.
All the time.
Yes.
That's right. And a lot of times it doesn't have to be out of an emergency, a need, an emergency. I have a meditation that I do. I don't care where I am. I can be in the car. I can be in the shower. I can be in the kitchen. And it is Mighty I Am Presence. Lift us up where we belong. And so now let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen the movie The Abyss?
I think I have seen that movie, but I must
It was an underwater movie.
Yes, but I think that I didn't get it because I heard you refer to it before, and it was not at a point when I was conscious of these types of things. So I saw it, but whatever the significance is, the esoteric significance, I missed it. So I'm going to have to go try to see it.
Well, if you ever see it again, you will get it. You will understand. Hollywood is filled with a lot of tinsel. It's true. However, there are people who have great imagination. For instance, the movie First Encounter of the Third Kind, or E.T., or Contact. But The Abyss is very particular because it does happen underwater. And I'm going to ask if anyone in the queue has ever seen this movie. Could they star 6 and come in and speak on it? Because I watch it every time I get the opportunity, because it opens a space in my imagination where under the water there is a whole other dimension, and if you were on the calls some weeks ago, I talked about higher dimensions. And I believe that under the water is probably a higher dimension than even some that are above the surface of the earth. So these are things that I like to look at. I'm kind of a sci-fi person, but I'm also a higher dimensional. I have interest in the higher dimensions, and I believe that we are aided on many, many levels subconsciously, but when you begin to consciously communicate with your guardians or with your ancestors or with your recently departed, actually, one thing that I read many years ago said that when a person passes on, you give them 3 months for the soul to rest. And then you can ask them for anything, and they will bring you the answer or help you to get to that thing that you want to accomplish. So, people look at death different ways. I look at it as graduation, and I look at the departed souls as my angels.
Well, that energy just takes on a different form, but the energy never dies. And, I was listening to someone, and I'm trying to remember who it was that I was listening to on YouTube that was speaking about that. They were speaking about our ancestors and that the outer space, the dimensions of outer space, that I guess there's some ancient, not Sanskrit, the Sumerian writings that are detailing about the ancient astronauts, and they described the firmament as watery, and that they said that as above, so below. That actually even the air we breathe is a form. There is different thicknesses. Like this is a thinner version, but it has water in it nevertheless. The air, and that just at the different dimensions is different concentrations of water versus oxygen and stuff. So that was real fascinating, but I can't remember who it was. But I think it had something also to do with the theory of whether the Earth is a globe or whether it's flat. And so I think that they were discussing that in ancient biblical versions and Sumerian texts, and a lot of the information that they originally referred to the earth as flat, and they referred to the sky as the firmament, and that there was depicted a goddess, Nut, stretching over the firmament, and that's one of the ancient Kemetic texts, Egyptian.
So another theory, do you mind if I say your name?
Oh, no, Deborah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deborah, another theory is the hollow earth theory, that the earth is actually hollow in the middle, and that there are passageways to the hollow earth. And I think it was James Milton's Paradise Lost. This was a 1930s book, somewhere around there, that actually an expedition went to this part of the earth, to the hollow earth. And it is actually an ocean inside. And all of this sounds very sci-fi, but I mean, just the sun rising is sci-fi for me. It doesn't take much for me.
But you know what? It's all connected, and it's information that has been suppressed. I mean, you have military people who are very credible people who have. I think the expedition you're referring to was Admiral Byrd, and they documented that extensively. There are lots and lots of YouTubes about that, showing actual footage of Antarctica and actual vintage films of him appearing on different shows and talking about it. And then all that stuff went away for years, but now it has resurfaced. So that if people are interested and they pay attention, they can find credible documentation about the things that you're discussing. And so, hollow earth theory, there's tribe. There's something on YouTube right now talking about the Machuchi Indians, or I probably butchered that word, Maxuchi or something like that, Macuxi or something like that, Amazonian tribe of Indians that say that they were the guardians for an entrance into the hollow earth for hundreds of years and maybe 1,000 years or whatever, but they're talking about that. Then you've got just really thousands of posts and people talking about hollow earth, and people. I give less credibility to the channelers, but show me a film, show me openings, and there are openings. They're like in Siberia,
right?
Holes, big old holes just opening up, and they've got caverns. It's so much, and it's all coming out now. So this stuff is not that crazy. There was a time when, yes, they could have played us off like that, but not anymore. You've got things that the Vatican had suppressed and sat on, that were taken out of the Bible. These things are being released now. So,
but see, this is exactly why I named this program "Talk with Mama YAH," because not to take anything away from God, but a lot of the conversation that is from the patriarchal viewpoint is about secrecy. And I contend that mama, is not about keeping secrets, but about giving guidance to your inner thoughts. The angels, and I say, my name that I have chosen for myself is Mama YAH Molina Bay. El means the maker of the law. Bay means the obeyer of the law. And many of the angels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Ariel, Aniel, Uriel, Zachael, they are the makers of the law. They come here to enforce the law that the universe has intended to work, to keep us balanced. So as we ascend into our higher selves, we need, and in the word self is L.
Wow.
I just got that. Okay. This is a learning experience for me as well. And in the word well is the word L. So maybe we should do some more research on that. But I would encourage you to see the movie, The Abyss.
I sure will. Yeah.
Yes. And maybe we can continue this conversation on another show in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. You enjoy. Okay, I believe this is Tom again.
I believe you're right, beloved. Hey, I just spoke of your deepness on your communication here. Well, you took it to a new limit for a lot of people, but I'm here to attest that that conference I just attended, that I rubbed shoulders with two beings from the Hollow Earth, and that's what the peace and healing portion of it was. But we hear a lot of times, and I want to thank that brother for attesting to Friday the 13th. It's not that unlucky a day, because that's when I was placed in this dimension on Friday the 13th, many moons ago. So I always place a positive thought on that thought. Anyway, I would like to encourage everyone on this call today to bring a friend. Reference this call to a friend, because this call, YAH willing, is going to get much deeper. And when we reference the cosmic and the galactics and all that stuff, there's another being that is pretty prominent and is spoke of as Prime Creator. Prime Creator has feminine and masculine energy. And just 2 days ago, I listened to a channeling of Prime Creator that came by way of Lady Nada. And the channeler that provided that was Michael Elajon. And there is a network for the Hollow Earth, if I may give that, beloved.
Please do.
Anyway, it's called HolloWealthNetwork.com. We reference it normally as the Hen family. It's many beings strong, and it's about galactics. A lot of times you hear people talking about galactic. Really, don't really have a clue. Galactic is truly a way of life, and the galactics are more than doing our part to resurrect and correct humanity on this surface we live on. And they fully, in the Hollow Earth, they don't need any of this thing they call funny money currency, because they have everything they need, and they've been living in there for many moons of peace and love. They have no need for anything, and they are loving, intelligent beings, and all planets in this Milky Way are hollow. And that one you referenced, Admiral Byrd, he's not dead. He came back with a message, and one of the beings I dined with the other day was the one in the conference and council they sent him back with a message when they detonated the atom bombs in Japan. They sent him back with a message. And those portals that you referred to, the North Pole and the South Pole are the two main portals. There's many. They're all over this planet. Anyway, they sent Admiral Byrd back with a message. Cease and desist this nuclear activity. Well, when they attempted to detonate a hydrogen bomb in 1951, they came to the surface and said, hey, no more. And they've been working on it ever since in correcting these negative activity because it affects their livelihood too. Anyway, HollowEarthNetwork.com. You can get on there and look at your heart's content. All their calls are archived, and there's links for everything that you want to look into, and it will definitely enlighten you with all this wisdom and knowledge that's placed there. Like I said, this was a Galactic Wisdom, Peace, and Healing Conference in Olympia, Washington. Anyway, with that, I would like to thank all the callers and invite them and encourage them to please bring more of your friends and your people. The days of when you tell somebody something like this and they look at you and roll their eyes around in their head, you know what? It's happening, and we're living in the now. And they call in the Hollow Earth what we call on the surface the New Order of the World. In the Hollow Earth, they refer to the New Oneness World. We will come together in oneness. And it's all well underway. So anybody that wants to check out that website, HollowEarthNetwork.com, they have conferences just like everything else. In fact, their conference has one of the longest longevity. They're in the 6th year of it. So you get on the website and get yourself connected, and you can truly get enlightened with the galactic beings and the galactic world. I'm talking about all over the universe. When I was at the conference, there was a beautiful young lady there that she channeled 4 12th-dimensional beings and interpreted them. 4 12th-dimension beings. And a lot of people are still struggling to get out of the 3D, but there was beings at this conference that was literally, the guy that put on the show, it was called Out of This World. Anyway, it was beautiful. I don't want to ramble, but I just wanted to share that. I'm compelled, and I was trying to interpret what part of the country the brother was that came on after I did. I think he was 954. I'm trying to interpret what part, but he mentioned farmer. Well, my first exposure to galactic was when I was 10 years old. I was plowing in a field. Those things they call UFOs, they used to, no such thing. They're all been fully identified. They're all very real, and they're very much more advanced than anything you're ever going to see on the surface of this earth we live on. There's 3 parts of the earth: the surface, the inner earth, that's the 800-mile thick crust, and the hollow earth. That's where these intelligent beings, and there's a few cavities around. Mount Shasta, California is one of them, where they're Lumerian, the city of Telos, the Lumerian descents, Atlantis, all these. They're in different parts of the inner earth and the hollow earth, but there's a lot of them that are here on this surface working side by side with us. Your best friend and your best neighbor could be one of the light workers that came here from the hollow earth or some other galactic dimension. Anyway, I don't want to ramble, but I do want to encourage everybody, wake up. The truth is there, and learn the truth and live it. It shall set you free. There's no reason in this world why you can't have that information, even though it's been suppressed all of her life. Deborah spoke beautifully of that thing she spoke of about being underwater. Well, there's also beings that do have the ability to breathe underwater and on the surface, and that's called the dolphins. Anyway, your life started in this dimension. You were in water when you were birthed. And like I said, I was put here in this dimension Friday the 13th. Anyway, with that I yield. I encourage you all to check it out. It's all there for the taking, and it definitely will enlighten you. There won't be any question.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Thank you.
dive in it. I thank you, beloved, and keep up the good work. This is a beautiful call, and we need to encourage more of our brothers and sisters to benefit from it, because this call, I believe truly nothing in this universe happens by accident. Just as sure as we came together on this call, we need to come together on other calls, and we need to bring our friends and loved ones in tow, because, it's always been written and said that my people shall perish for the lack of knowledge. And like I said, the Galactics reference the one of creator, prime creator, male, female. We, on the surface, I personally recognize and realize that Father YAH is my creator, and I yield.
Thank you. So, everything that we talked about this evening is at DivineConnectionChurch.wordpress.com, and tonight's conversation was about angels. Remember, if you need help, if you need consolation, if you need strength, if you need courage, call on an angel. Look up some of the angels. There's a dictionary of angels. Mine is Ariel. Ariel is the angel for love and compassion. And with that, I'm going to play Love Translation and wish you all a wonderful evening. And I'll talk to you next week. This is Mama YAH.
Music is the mastery of mind. It keeps you in a place of being
you.